to all that, we kick the show off with something both the fans and Adam and I are in total agreement about.
Healthcare reform.
Actually, KOTOR.
Right, Knights of the Old Republic. That was xplay's best game of 2003, and you agreed, and for that, we love you.
So here it is, because you requested it, the Xbox game you most wanted to see, a review of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Message to Jedi wannabes everywhere. Put down the plastic lightsabers and write a thank you note to BioWare. Knights of the Old Republic has arrived. Now, I know that Star Wars games tend to be a bit disappointing at times. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Galaxies. But Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is not only a great Star Wars game, it's actually one of the best Xbox games yet.
How come I get the feeling you're trying to take us for a ride?
No, seriously, it's really good. Set 4,000 years before the movies, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic takes place an even longer time ago, in a galaxy just as far away. Despite being the ultimate prequel, lots of things will be familiar. The Jedi still fight the Sith, Tatooine's still a big desert, and the blasters even sound the same. See? Not a Star Destroyer, yet reminiscent of a Star Destroyer. Aiding a young, attractive female Jedi named Bastila, you must assemble a ragtag team of Star Wars stereotypes to defeat the evil Darth Malak and, of course, save the galaxy. Maybe. All snark aside, the story is actually quite good. But if I spoil anything, the fanboy death squads will put a price on my head the size of a Wookiee. Depending on your actions and your choices, you can become either a light or dark Jedi. This affects how people react to you, and also your character's appearance. Apparently, being evil leaves no time to hit the tanning salon. The dozens of side quests throughout the game add tons of playtime. Lots of people in the Star Wars universe have trouble solving their own problems.
Anyone out there? Could you help? I seem to be, doomed.
Wussy light side Jedi will help these unfortunate fools, like this woman who is unusually attached to her droid.
Oh, it's just so good to have him back. We're just gonna go right home, right now, and celebrate. Aren't we, my lovely little droid?
Please kill me.
However, I have much more fun using the Jedi mind trick to force a widow to give me her only possession.
This raid plate is all I have left.
You will give me the plate for half price.
Half is acceptable to me. I agree.
I love the Jedi mind trick.
There is a docking fee of 100 credits.
I don't need to pay the docking fee.
You know, I don't think you need to pay the fee.
It just doesn't get old.
It troubles me to see you behaving this way.
If you prefer evil didn't reign for some reason, don't worry. The game is designed to be fun no matter which path you choose. Being good doesn't mean the game will be harder. It's just different. Combat plays out in real time, but it's technically turn-based. Since this is an RPG, hits and misses are calculated with stats and ability scores. You can pause and plan strategy out, or you can just hit attack and let the battles play themselves. Either way, it manages to be both cinematic and strategic. We give Knights of the Old Republic a 5 out of 5. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to continue my journey towards the dark side.
You are dangerous. You could be the savior of the galaxy, or you could bring untold destruction upon us all.
Oh, it's nice when the fans agree with us about something.
Yes, it's a lot less nice when they vote in droves to organize Jazzercise on national television.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, Jazzercise is a blend of jazz dance and exercise science. It's choreographed to combine a great cardiovascular workout with resistance training and stretching. It's also humiliating.
And emasculating.
The important thing is that the fans clearly care about us and want us to engage in some sort of healthy behavior. Or maybe they just want to watch us jump up and down.
Yeah.
Jerks.
1, 2, stick around, there's more. 2?
Because you voted for it.
We've got Final Fantasy 11 and 10. 2.
Hey, Adam. I have something for you.
What is it?
It's your manhood.
Just Darth break! Do you like Star Wars?
Yes.
Heck, who watching the show does not like Star Wars? And by that I mean the original film.
Well, we're back with the sequel to the game we voted best game of 2003.
They can't even hold a lightsaber to the original.
Find out when we review Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2.
There are dark places in the galaxy where few tread. To be united by hatred is a fragile alliance at best.
Man, Sith parties are such downers. In what must be one of the quickest turnarounds for an RPG sequel in history, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, hits the Xbox for a little ancient Star Wars saber swinging. Set 4,000 years before the movie and 5 years after the first KOTOR, your character in KOTOR 2 is an exiled Jedi who somehow ended up adrift in the Ebon Hawk and awakens in an abandoned mining installation.
I am Kreia, and I am your rescuer, as you are mine.
Soon you hook up with a few allies, venturing into the mine shafts without any clothing.
You're either really brave or really crazy, or both.
Turns out you're being hunted by some really nasty characters who seem to believe you are the last of the Jedi. Sorta weird since you meet another Jedi about 5 minutes into the game, but the Sith are known for being menacing, not geniuses. Your quest to discover just who and what you are will span multiple worlds and involve numerous characters, both Force users and more regular fighter types.
Yeah, and I'm also good at running and drinking, Your Majesty.
The story is exceptionally well written, and is a darker and more nuanced tale than KOTOR 1. Moral gray areas abound, and often you can't be entirely sure whose side people are on.
There are techniques within the Force against which there is no defense.
As in the first game, your choices of words and actions will shift your character to the light or dark side. This time, your alignment can actually affect your allies, so enough wanton slaughter can actually make normally good characters into evil bastards. Corruption is fun. Combat is pseudo-real-time. Everything plays out all action-packed, but the attacks and parries are all the result of number crunching behind the scenes. If you've played the first game, you'll be right at home in KOTOR 2.
You two are supposed to be Jedi? You two are the worst Jedi I've ever met.
There are a few disturbances in the Force, however. It takes a long time for your character to really hit the Jedi trail. Hell, it takes 20 minutes just to find clothes.
The whole half-naked Jedi thing was wearing a little thin.
You won't be laying your hands on a lightsaber for about 10 hours. Hope you like whacking droids with swords, folks. On the other end of the epic, the last 30 minutes are one of the biggest letdowns in gaming history. We won't spoil it for you, but just don't expect much closure.
It does not matter where we go. If what we seek is here, we shall come upon it in due time.
Yeah, if you want to stay on the ship and meditate some more, don't let us stop you.
One of the coolest parts of KOTOR 2 is the ability to gain a prestige class. You can become a Jedi Watchman, Sith Marauder, a full-fledged Jedi Master, or several other types of saber-slicing, force-blasting badass. On the plus side, you become incredibly powerful. On the negative side, you become incredibly powerful. The whole game is a little too easy. Enemies in the final areas drop like flies before your whirling blades. Jeez, you guys can't take a hit. Even Sith Lords aren't a challenge. The evil threat to all life, ladies and gentlemen. At least she got her saber lit before I effortlessly dispatched her. These flaws drag the game down to a less than stellar level. It's also full of weird but amusing glitches. Groove on with the coup d'etat. Yeah, I hit the problems pretty hard, but I always hit because I love. Knights of the Old Republic 2 is one of the best RPGs of the year, and it may even make you think about the Force in a way you never considered before. It just isn't quite as awesome as its predecessor. A 4 out of 5.
Well, that's something of a shame. But I mean, it's still a good game.
It's still a good game. A 4 is a very good score.
But it's very hard to follow in the massive footsteps of, our best game of 2003.
Yes.
If you want to comment on it, and God, you guys do, go to the website.
Good night.
Bonus!
It sucks.
But wait, there's more.
I cannot tell you how thrilled I am that we let the fans, the very people who threatened me with physical violence for disliking Dragon Ball Z, that we let them design today's show.
Yes, you went to our website, techtv.com/xplay, and voted for the games you wanted to see us review. And it turns out that you like Star Wars. You like it a whole heaping bunch with whipped cream on top.
You also like making me look like a dork. Thanks. So, because you wanted it, here's our review of Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike for the GameCube. Seen it.
Orders.
Done it.
5 left.
That's new. Hey, now we're talking. It's a smorgasbord of old and new in Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3. Can we maybe start shortening these Star Wars titles, please? Between this and the Jedi Knight series, it's starting to take longer to say the name than play the game. The structure of Rebel Strike will be familiar to Rogue Squadron veterans. You play through a series of missions as Luke and Wedge of Rogue Squadron.
You've picked up the Advanced Shield Tech upgrade.
Blasting your way through various movie locales and expanded universe settings. You begin right after the destruction of the first Death Star, defending the rebel leaders from an Imperial counterattack.
If it hadn't been for Skywalker, Starfleet wouldn't find any survivors.
From there, you can follow Luke's path through the battles of the films, or go with Wedge on a few lesser-known expeditions. Wedge even makes a stop off at Geonosis to pick up some prequel memorabilia.
It's a Jedi Starfighter!
And that Jedi Starfighter contains sonic mines.
What are your orders,
Love that sound. You also get the opportunity to tromp around in a Scout Walker now and then, as well as hop on a speeder bike for the Endor chase scene. This is by far the best version of the speeder chase ever done, and has an amazing sense of speed. Just watch out for that tree. The totally new stuff comes in the form of sequences that put you on foot outside of the cockpit. There's very little to the gameplay here beyond running around and blasting stormtroopers left and right. They don't add much to the game, but they don't hurt either. Play well enough and you can unlock some great bonus stages, and even a few classic Star Wars arcade games. Also note that the movie footage in this game is the best quality original trilogy stuff you're likely to see until the DVDs show up in September. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yes, Adam, there are space battles, ground battles, shootouts on foot, speeder bike missions, classic arcade games, movie clips, and even that cool sonic mine sound effect. But for the love of God, is there a Hoth level? Fear not, my friends. There are 2 Hoth levels. 3 if you count the co-op multiplayer mission. That's right, I said co-op. One of the coolest features of Rebel Strike is the multiplayer mode that lets you play through Rogue Leader in its entirety with a friend.
We can't take much more.
The missions have even been beefed up with more and tougher enemies, so you don't just be cruising through it without using some teamwork.
Almost there.
Playing this game with a real live wingman is an absolute blast.
That does it for the shield generators.
The co-op and bonus versus modes give Rebel Strike far more longevity than any of the previous games in the series.
Help me take out those fighters.
It may not be a giant leap forward from Rogue Leader, but Rebel Strike tries some new things and improves on already excellent vehicle combat.
Need assistance.
There's a huge amount of content here, both single and multiplayer, and it nets Rebel Strike a 5 out of 5. Even if it does feature a dancing Wookiee. Yep, this game has more extras than you can shake your tinky winky at. And you people made me say that.
Now, of course, we understand why you love this game. Hoth levels, speeder bikes, Vader, disco dancing.
I mean, who doesn't love to see an iconic figure of brooding evil do the pointy dance?
I mean, you guys wanted to see Adam jazzercise earlier.
I rest my case.